Today we're in my current hometown of Wichita, Kansas. I say current hometown because I grew up in Ohio, and you know, people ask you where you're from. Do you say where you spent like your first 30 years of life or your last 20 years of life? But since I moved here, when I first moved here, I didn't really know much about the history out here, and and even why Wichita maybe grew to be the size of the city that it is right now. But then obviously doing all these videos and being here, you learn about the history of a place and how important the railroad was to Wichita. I mean, it was everything. And it was a cow town, it was a Wild West town. Wyatt Earp was here for a while. So today, I'm gonna visit the Great Plains Transportation Museum right here in the Old Town area, downtown area of Wichita. They call it Old Town, and see what they have and learn a little bit more about Wichita's history. Now we're inside the museum. We're looking down to the first floor where we came in, and you kind of go right up the steps and start seeing all kinds of historical information, pictures, little models, all kinds of information about how you can help restore the Santa Fe. You'll see that outside here in a minute. But the museum used to be over in Union Station, where we were at the beginning of the video. That closed in 1977. They opened this building in 1986. And it was just a second floor at that time, which is where we're at now. They opened up that bottom entrance in 1999, kind of expanded the museum a little bit. And they have all kinds of things here to check out. You got different pictures, different maps of railroads, whether it's in Kansas or around the entire country. I really like this old drawing of Wichita. And you can see different railroad tracks throughout the city, and so that's about a 1900 drawing of the city. It's really changed a lot. I do like old signs, so there's some cool stuff. They have different areas to talk about the different railroads that came through here, or the different companies that were in Wichita, and there's a little model of the city. The Santa Fe was the first one that came through in 1872. You can see there's a Rock Island one that came through in 1887. Frisco came in 1880, and the Missouri Pacific was in 1883. Four major railroads came through. So then you just walk right out the door and you can go see some old locomotives and railroad cars. So it's a really interesting area here, and I was just across the way over at Union Station there earlier, so you can see it there. And this is Douglas Avenue. Kind of Douglas is the main road that goes through downtown Wichita. And so when you're driving, you can see this train on top of the road, so it's always kind of interesting when you're driving. When you look up there, you're kind of wondering what it is. So right down the middle, that's what we're looking at. You can see the trains and see where it is within the city. So there were tracks that went over there from that old picture, and that's the depot. And then there were tracks that came for this depot. Then there was another one on down the way that way. And then there was another one over by Delano. He's like, try to drive that thing. There's the Santa Fe that they are trying to raise money to restore. They have different projects. I could smell fresh paint on some of them over there. So you just kind of walk around and check out the different trains here on top of the street. And the railroad does run right past here, so every once in a while there will be trains kind of flying by. This is a Burlington Northern. That was one of the later ones that came through Wichita. I like how they've kept it very authentic. Definitely have not done it up. It looks like it's probably painted the same and all the same equipment it had when it was running. And that's pretty much it. I showed you all the highlights. There are some other things you can see if you're ever in the downtown Wichita area. Kind of a unique museum here right in the busy part of the city. Definitely recommend it if you're ever in town. So the museum is just down there, but this is always an interesting alley to go down. Just like an artistic alley.